$30 billion. That's the valuation of OpenAI in its most recent round of funding. Today we are going to be talking about a project that is threatening OpenAI's spot as number one through the use of the blockchain and open source code. This coin has a lot of similarities to Ethereum because of its ability to host projects and generate network effects for its users and holders. Let's dive into what makes Bittensor, ticker TAO, so special. In this video, I'm going to go over everything you need to know about this project. I will outline why this coin has value, the tokenomics, a price prediction, the risks, and then the moon score, which ties everything together for a comprehensive score of the coin. Before we start, this is not investment advice and is for educational purposes only. Consult an investment professional for advice and do your own research. The main points of the thesis are that Bittensor is similar to other L1s, which is a proven business model. Secondly, Bittensor will allow developers to distribute their products with less friction and will help with marketing through aligned incentives. Thirdly, the incentive structure gives Bittensor a leg up against their centralized competition. Lastly, Bittensor will help to bear the expensive cost of developing AI models. Bittensor is similar to Ethereum and other layer 1s as it provides a base layer to access services. In Ethereum's case, these services are decentralized apps like decentralized exchanges, games, and NFT marketplaces. On Bittensor, these apps will be AI apps like chatbots. Bittensor is in the artificial intelligence niche, a sector that is driving growth for the world economy and has a lot of attention on it. Lots of money is flowing into it from venture capital firms and governments alike. This is positive as it will bring lots of eyeballs and investment. With the recent attention coming towards the crypto market recently, they are in a great position. This attention has the ability to create a positive flywheel where the treasury of Bittensor inflates in value so much that they can poach top talent from other more established AI companies, thus increasing their chances at success. But the question is, why would developers put their artificial intelligence solutions on Bittensor? When it comes to having a successful product, there are two things that you need. The first thing is the product, which the developers have, and the second, arguably more important thing you need is distribution and marketing. Bittensor will help AI teams distribute and get paid for their work. As the network grows, it will have a snowball effect of bringing in more customers, and with that, more teams building on top of the network. This is a sustainable business model which will sustain the token price. The cost of developing an AI solution can also be expensive. For example, when ChatGPT was in development, every training run cost OpenAI $12 million. Bittensor helps to solve this by allowing their users to use the combined GPU power of Bittensor's node and network to help brunt this load. The project has also been backed by a couple big players in the space. This will help with marketing the protocol to new users and builders. It will also bring valuable advice to the team when they face challenges. Charlie Munger once said, "Show me the incentive, and I will show you the outcome." The incentive mechanism set up by Bittensor is better than anything currently on the market. The community aspect cannot be overlooked. Having Web3 incentives applied to this sector can help grow Bittensor as the holders of the token are incentivized to get their friends to use the platform and to get their friends to deploy their AI solutions to the network. Nobody is getting paid when their friends use ChatGPT. Now let's look at the tokenomics. Bittensor has a similar tokenomic model to Bitcoin. There will be 21 million tokens, and the emissions are structured in a 4-year halving cycle. The cycles are designed so all tokens will be in circulation within 10 years. It is disinflationary just like Bitcoin. This token was fair launched with no pre-mine, which means that there are no supply unlocks for venture capital firms to dump on investors. If venture capital firms and market makers want to be involved with this project, they need to buy on the open market like the rest of us. As far as the token goes, it will be used to access the AI models in the network, for governance and for staking. Most layer 1s have inflationary models for their tokens. Bittensor is taking a different approach with their disinflationary model. Now let's look at a few different scenarios for where the price of TAO can go. We are going to look at two methods of valuation for Bittensor. They are both variations of the comparables method. Firstly, we are going to compare Bittensor to comparables in the AI space, and then we are going to compare Bittensor to similar projects in the crypto space. The first way we can look at valuing the Bittensor protocol is by tallying up the sum of all the AI networks on the protocol. We can look at private market valuations for AI firms like OpenAI to get a sense of what this could be worth. OpenAI is seeking an $86 billion valuation in their next private funding round. So if Bittensor charges past them, they could be worth that amount. This would put the price of each TAO token at $81.90 per token, assuming there are 10.5 million tokens in circulation. This is a bit low considering the high interest rate environment we are currently in. This could go much higher considering the money supply is contracting. The most similar projects to Bittensor that exist in crypto are layer 1s like Ethereum, Solana, and Avalanche. But those are the shining examples of successful layer 1s. To be a bit more conservative in our analysis, let's look at comparing TAO to some less capitalized layer 1s. So, in our exercise of trying to predict where this token can go, we will use these coins from the last cycle as our most accurate benchmark. Algorand reached a valuation of $13 billion. Multiverse X reached a valuation of $10 billion. Hedera reached a valuation of $6.5 billion. All three of these chains were rarely used and not talked about much at all. So it is not crazy to say that if Bittensor has a bit of traction, that it will blow past these valuations in a bull market. Other coins like Matic hit $20 billion, and even the blockchain that didn't work, Cardano reached a valuation of $95 billion. So if we use a supply of TAO of 10.5 million, which is the amount available in September 2025, here are some possible prices. Thanks to Tensor Detective on Twitter for pointing this out. Check him out on Twitter for Bittensor news and posts. Now to evaluate the risks. In every project, there are risks. It is important to be aware of these before you invest. The first risk that Bittensor faces is that they are in a highly competitive industry, meaning that talent is scarce and well paid. It is possible that they won't be able to attract and retain the talent needed for the project to be an ongoing success. Bittensor is also pioneering new ways of doing business on the blockchain. While this is great, there also comes risks as their technology isn't lindy like Ethereum and Bitcoin. It could work, but they are exposing themselves to more risk by not using battle-tested systems. The project is also hard to understand to prospective investors. They need to understand a lot about AI and crypto to be able to wrap their head around the use case for the protocol. This will make it harder to market to new investors. Most will take one look at the white paper, see complicated algebra, and close the tab. Maybe Dogecoin is more their speed. Another risk is that the tokenomics system chosen might not be the best for incentivization of the system, as Bittensor needs to have a balance between appreciation and inflation of supply if the project is to be useful. Other layer 1s have inflationary token mechanisms, and that has been working well for them. Then there are the general risks. Every project has like hacks and rogue team members. Also, integral team members quit, stop giving the project all the effort needed, or that other better projects come along. There is also the possibility that other layer 1s dive into AI, eating up a share of the pie because they have more funding. Remember the 2021 ecosystem incentives for Avalanche, Near, and countless other protocols. Now time to tie everything together into the Moon score. The fundamentals are solid. However, the consensus mechanisms are new, which hurts the fundamentals as they are not battle-tested. The demand is there, and the use case is there to have stable revenue generation into the future. This gets a 7. Looking at AI and how centralized it is, it should not be hard for the AI decentralization narrative to continue to grow, as most people are skeptical of centralization. The incentive structure is something that will help drive the adoption of this protocol, as users have financial incentives to use it and market it far and wide once they are a holder. The narrative gets a 9. Very strong community on Twitter, which is good for getting new investment. Lots of big influencers have started shilling this coin to their followers, so it is known by a wide part of the crypto community. The community gets a 9. The developers of this project are not too known on CT, but they seem to be building well. Ideally, you want a cult leader as a dev, someone like Do Kwon or Daniel Sesta, someone the community confides in and can lead the charge. And by leading the charge, I don't mean lead the charge into a rug pull. Devs get a 6. This is hard to understand. It takes a few hours of research to grasp the topic. This gets a 3, as most prospective investors will give up before they understand the utility. This coin has a great community, which is one of the most important things. Marketing is key. They have a strong narrative behind them. Looking forward to the Bittensor team doing big things in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with someone who is a Bittensor bear. Until next time.